Hello and welcome to Building Your Spiritual Business. I'm Brian Mandrell, your host, and welcome to my very first podcast, my #1 episode. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on my website, welcome to my website. So today, what I decided to talk about is why I decided to build Next Level Healer. And let me tell you, I didn't ever think that I would be coaching spiritual entrepreneurs or healers. I even said it years ago, I would never coach someone or help someone in the alternative healthcare field. And I was completely wrong. The universe had other ideas for me. So today I want to tell you about my spiritual awakening back in October 15th, 2020, and how that changed my life. And it really drove me to build Next Level Healer. And, but before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the healthcare field, the alternative healthcare field, since 1990. I started out when I was 22 years old. I'm now 56, so that's a lot of math. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've treated thousands and thousands of people and patients. So again, because I have all these years of experience in the alternative healthcare field. I started out as a massage therapist. Then I moved up here to Colorado to become an acupuncturist, went to acupuncture school, graduated. I ran a very successful business here in Colorado, in Denver area for about 10 years. And then I actually got into hypnosis and loved hypnosis, fell in love with that. And then I decided to sell my acupuncture clinic and then start my hypnosis clinic. Currently, I specialize in people for quitting smoking, quitting tobacco, e-cigarettes, but I do past life regression, I do weight loss, anxiety, stress, so I do treat a lot of different things as well. But I wasn't always successful in business. It was hard, man. Starting out was hard. I remember, because what happened with me is, luckily, when I started out back in 1990, my brother-in-law, he's a chiropractor. And so I went to work with him and for him, and he owned 4 successful clinics there in Texas. And luckily for me is I went with him to all of his business building seminars. He was really big into business building, and he ran 4 successful clinics. And so he knew this business inside and out. So for me, luckily, I went and learned a lot of stuff via him, as well as he made me in charge of doing his patient education. So I was having to sell his treatment plans and all these things, and so he put me in charge of that. So I had a lot of experience way back in the 90s of how to build a very successful business. And again, luckily for me, I learned that information, and so I ran my successful acupuncture clinic, and then I got into hypnosis. But around 2007, on the big recession, when the housing market crashed, everything stopped. And what I was doing back then is I was doing a lot of print media, like running ads in like little magazines and like the newspaper. I even ran a small commercial, and those were successful, but my main type of advertising was print media. And again, running like small coupons and magazines in the local neighborhood magazines, and those worked great. So I actually learned how to do like content writing, how to write headlines in small ads. But when 2007 came, all the print media died. Nothing was working. And this is really before it was really before like online marketing really came to like the forefront. But before 2007, when I was an acupuncturist, I had a website built for me. And this is like the very beginning. And this is when people, like small businesses, started having their own website. Before that, before 2007, most people or big corporations had a website, but most small businesses didn't because they couldn't afford it. So I wanted a website for my acupuncture clinic. I paid this guy, it must have been 2003, 2002. I paid this guy to build my website, my acupuncture clinic website, charged me $10,000. And at the time, it was a lot of money. It was still a lot of money. But at the time, that was the going rate because no one knew how to build a website. So I was running a special in my clinic, and so I asked this guy to put up an ad on my website, and he wouldn't do it. He was slow. It was just a really big pain. And what happened was he went out of business. And when he went out of business, guess what happened? I don't know if he went out of business. I think he just closed his business. But when he closed his business, or like went out of business, whatever he did, I lost my website. I didn't have any website content whatsoever. So again, if you don't have a website, you don't have a business. So I tried to call this guy. I tried to get some information, how to get into my site. I didn't even know how to get into my website. And he wouldn't call me back. So I lost $10,000. Off the bat, right away, and I was so mad. I was like, oh my God, I spent so much money on this website and I've got nothing. So again, I was doing print ad at that time, and you didn't really need a website, but I was doing print advertising and coupons, and that was working well. And then when 2007 hit, man, the print, I don't know what happened, but the print advertising died. No one was buying print advertising anymore. No one was hitting my coupons. They're hitting them, but they weren't coming in. My business was dying. The recession hit. And so it was just, I was going out of business, and it was hard. And so I decided that I had to do something with my business. If not, I was out of business. And so I decided that I had to learn how to build my own website, because at that time in 2007, small businesses were getting more websites, and people were searching online more, looking for small businesses online, looking at their stuff, and then buying buying online. And so I decided I had to do something dramatic. So I started building my own website. And this was before there was a lot of information. Now there's way more information on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Back then, 2007, there was hardly anything, and I built a WordPress site. Did not know WordPress, did not know anything about building a site, because again, I started out as a massage therapist. I was an acupuncturist. I'm a hypnotist, right? I didn't go to school to learn online marketing. I didn't go to school to learn how to do design and build a website. So I got into it, and I was struggling, and I couldn't, oh my God, this is so hard. And I get so frustrated, and my wife would come in, I'm just cussing and I'm just hitting things. And she's like, oh my God, Brian, what's wrong? I said, how is someone supposed to learn how to do this stuff? Because I'll tell you this right now, technology is not intuitive, okay? Because there should be a saying, oh, it's so intuitive. No, technology is not intuitive. Learning technology is super hard, especially if you don't have a background in it. So I struggled, and then I finally figured out. And one day I was talking to this guy, a friend of mine, and I was like so mad. I was like, man, and he designed websites, but I was never gonna pay someone ever again to actually build me a site, because I refused, because I got ripped off. And so he was saying, well, Brian, he said, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to learn is people went to college for. They went to 4-year college to learn how to build a website. And so when he said that, I kind of like, oh, this is supposed to be hard, right? so it kind of pulled off the pressure. So I slowly learned how to build my website. I learned how to build the pages, like what was a plugin. I didn't know what a plugin was. And I was like, what in the hell is a plugin, right? I don't even know this stuff. Anyway, so I struggled and figured out that I could do it. And so I built my site, and then I put my own content in it, and I knew how to do a little bit of sales part, the sales part, the actual content writing, because I was writing ads earlier on. So that worked, started getting business, and then my business took off, okay? Because my site was janky, didn't look good, the design, because I didn't know how to design anything. It's not my background, it looked crappy, but it was converting. I even had a client, I remember this, I had a client come in, and she was a website designer, and she said, Brian, your website isn't very good. and she said, well, I can help you with that if you pay me, a fee. I can help you upgrade your website. And I smiled and I said, but it brought you in, didn't it? And she started laughing. She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, it's good enough. It's done. It's working. So that's my experience with like just having a janky site in the very beginning. Because again, you don't know web design. I didn't know web design. I do now, but I didn't back then. And so anyway, so my business took off. It got better. And then that was my hypnosis business. And so again, just jamming, just doing great until COVID hit. And as you probably know, when COVID hit, everything stopped. There was no more business. No one wanted to actually come in. And at this point in my career, I was burned out. I mean, I was thinking about retiring 2 years or 3 years before COVID hit, before 2020. And a friend that I was sharing office space with at the time, he actually retired during 2020. So I was like, I want to do something different. I don't know what I want to do. And I was really thinking about changing careers because I've helped thousands of people. My purpose is complete. I've already done my goodwill on the planet and with my brothers and sisters on this planet, right? So I was going to retire, and I thought maybe I'd do some type of coaching, but it'd be more around like personal development coaching because of my background with hypnosis as well as NLP. And so I thought that I'd be doing something online, maybe with doing some coaching stuff around personal development. And COVID hit and everything died. And I was like, man, maybe I should just transition out of the healthcare field completely. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to help anybody else. So a friend of mine, he was a mobile signing agent, and what that is if you like refinance your house, a mortgage agent signer or like a notary will come out to your house, and you'll sign the papers, and they'll stamp it and make it official, and then that should go away, and then they are a contract labor person for a title company. And so I was talking to him about that, and he said, oh, it's a good business. He was making good money, and he was networked in with these title companies. And he said, well, why don't you give it a try? And again, during COVID, I was like, okay. He was really busy during COVID. I said, well, okay, I'll try something different. So I went out and I got my license and as a signing agent, and I started out, it was okay. It was an okay business. And then I built my own website like around that. Because again, once you understand how to build your website, you can do it in any niche. You can do it with any business. And this is one of the empowering parts of knowing how to build a website, is because you can have an instant business in any niche. So I could switch over from hypnosis to dog training if I wanted to, or to do something, or like, again, mobile signing agent, build a site. Everything's super easy and it's super fast. So anyway, I got I got approved and licensed with actual signing agent stuff, and then I was going out, and it just started out with a business, and we're still doing during the actual lockdowns. Stressful at home, my actual wife is locked down. My daughter's in high school, so we have everybody was stressed, and so I got on with a signing agent. And I'm sorry, with this title company, and they started give me some business, and that's what you want to do in that industry, is get on with a title company. So I got on with this title company, and it was stressful in the very beginning because it's a brand new career. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm a hypnotist, right? So I went to I go to these people's houses, and I was really slow at it because again, it's brand new, but it was going okay, and I go backpacking two or three times a year with a group of guys out in like Utah, and we go out there every year. I love Utah. Utah is my special place. I just love Utah so much. And my friend, he was having his 50th birthday, and he wanted to actually go out to Utah and go camping for his birthday. So I was gonna go, I wasn't gonna go on this trip, and I was kind of tired, I was kind of stressed because of everything with this new business. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go. And at the last minute, my wife said, Brian, just go. You love Utah. It's your special place. Just go relax, because we've been locked down, all that stress. So I said, okay. So the night before we're supposed to leave, and again, if you've never been camping, the night before you're putting your camping gear together, you're going through all your stuff, your sleeping bags, and then we actually travel out to Utah, where we go is about 8 hours out of Denver, and so we leave early in the morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So that day before, I'm actually putting my gear together, and I'm making sure that I have the right enough food, enough water, my camping gear, my sleeping bag, all these things. And then at the last minute, this title company asked me if I could go out and do a signing, and I was like, brand new with the company, so I said, oh sure, I'll go do that. So I went and did the signing. I was tired, I was stressed, I was kind of rushed, and did the signing, and then everything was good. And then so I actually turned in that extra paperwork to this title company on my way back to my house in the evening. So everything was fine. So we get up the next morning, and we're getting the truck, we're packing up our truck, and there's 4 of us in this truck, and we have all of our camping gear, and I'm back in the back seat, and we're kind of stuffed, and it's early in the morning, we're kind of tired, and we're driving out to go camping. And we get about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours outside of Denver going to Utah, which is away from Denver. And I get a phone call on my phone, and it's the owner of this title company. And she said, Brian, there's a problem last night with that paperwork on that signing, and you missed a signature. And so in that business, if you make a mistake, you have to go back and fix it at your own cost, which is fine. I mean, it was my mistake. But if you don't go back, you get fired from that title company, and they'll never use you again. So I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm driving, I'm going camping. It was Friday morning. I was like, I'm out of town. There's no way possibly that I could go back. And this lady, she was so mad. She was screaming, and she was hollering at me, and she was cussing at me. She couldn't believe that I would not go back and fix my error, go back. I said, I can't do it. I'm in a truck, I'm not driving, my friend's driving, we're going camping, it's my friend's birthday, right? It's impossible. I'm 4 or 5 hours outside of Denver, right? And I knew as well, if I would have gone back, if I said, hey guys, drop me off, right? And I hitchhike home, I fixed it, she'd still fire me, right? Because it was my mistake. So anyway, so I was like, ma'am, I can't do it. It's impossible. And she was cussing and yelling. And so I'm back in the back of this truck with all this camping gear, and all my friends were just mortified because they could hear every word that she was saying because she was yelling so loud. And the body language with my friends was incredible. They're just all like, oh my God, they're just in shock. I was in shock. And so she was cussing and yelling. I was apologizing. I'm sorry, I'll fix it on Monday. And she's like, well, it's too late on Monday. And just, it was horrible. I don't think I've never, but it was rarely that I've been yelled at by like an employer like that bad. So anyway, so she's cussing, yelling, and then she hung up on me. And I was like, oh my God. And my friends were like, oh my God, Brian, she was horrible. She was cussing at you. She didn't care, right? And so they were embarrassed for me. I was totally embarrassed. I felt ashamed because I got fired in front of my friends, in this brand new job and this brand new career. And then I felt bad because I had to go at some point and call my wife and tell her, say, hey, I just got shit canned from this job, this brand new job that's so happy to get with this title company. So there goes some more stress on me, right? So I'm stressed out, I'm tired, and we go camping, and my friends are like, dude, just don't worry about it. Just go out, have fun. And so I'm like, sure, let's just go have fun. And so we get out to our camping spot, and it's very, very remote. And it's one of those spots, like in Utah, you have to have a 4-wheel drive truck, and it takes you, we're crawling across rocks, and so it takes us like 2 hours to like go like 10 miles or less, so you're super slow crawling over these rocks. I've been to the spot out there in the desert in our camping spot probably 8 or 9 times before. Been there, loved it. I just love that spot. And so we get out there and drinking a little bit, nothing major. And what I'm going to tell you about what happened out there, I'm not going to tell you much about what happened out there because I don't. It's too personal. Um, but we go out there and something happened, and I can't explain what happened even today with my spirituality and what I'm doing. Um, I've always been spiritual, and I've been like with being in this healthcare field, being like a massage therapist, acupuncturist, hypnotist. I believe in energy. I believe in spirituality, and I'm like, oh yes, just live in the light and the love and happiness. And if you surround yourself with like light and love, nothing bad will actually happen to you. Um, but we went out to this camping spot, and I've never been the person that said, oh, I want a spiritual awakening, or I want to have this big spiritual experience. Yes, I've wanted to actually go out in the desert and meditate and relax and just connect with nature, and enjoy it and kind of get the vibe of the area. But never a spiritual awakening. That was never in the forefront of my mind. I never searched it out. I actually never wanted it. But I was out there and with my friends and partying just a little bit, nothing major, nothing, I mean, it was not anything. But what I experienced was darkness. What I experienced was a very dark, evil energy. And again, it was not in my forefront. I was never looking for that stuff, never really believed in that stuff, honestly. I mean, I thought, oh, sure, that's possible. But I never thought that it was going to be like that. And I won't go into detail because I wanted to protect my friends and my family from like what I experienced. And so, experienced this deep darkness, and I experienced it on the first night I was out there. And my other friends didn't experience it, but they saw my reactions to it. And then the next day, camping, I didn't experience anything. The following night, I experienced something again. And then I experienced it all the way home. And so what I did is my good friend Jeff, his girlfriend, she's a shaman. And I told Jeff, I said, hey, on like the way home, I was like, I need to talk to like Tabitha because of what I experienced out there. And so I was texting her, and she said, oh yeah, there was something dark, something very, very, very negative that you came across. And so she said, my friend deals with that stuff, and her friend is a shaman as well. And so she said, once you get home, call my friend, talk to her, because she's experienced this stuff as well. And so I called her friend, and her friend knew exactly what was going on, and she had experienced it herself. And she said, I cannot give you like a shamanic treatment to help you with this until about 3 days. So this thing, I don't know what it is. I don't fully understand it. But this thing was hanging around for 3-4 days, and I was very afraid for my family. I was afraid for I don't understand what it really is or was. So I got a session from my friend's, from Tabitha's friend as a shaman, got some treatment from her, gone. It was one of the most amazing things I had ever experienced in my entire life when it comes to healthcare or to a alternative healthcare treatment. Again, I didn't even believe. I mean, I'd say, "Oh, you're a shaman." My friend Jeff, his girlfriend's Tabitha. I was like, "Oh, Tabitha, you're a shaman. That's kind of cool." And so it's kind of like, "Oh, that's a cool thing," and you're a shaman, blah blah blah. And but I never thought that I wanted to be a shaman. I never thought that that's what I wanted to do or the path I'd be on. But with my shamanic work that I experienced, it was amazing. It was something and she did it over the phone. She lived at the time in Santa Fe, which is 6 hours away. And I guarantee it, I would have driven 6 hours just to go see her, but she did it over the phone, which was even more amazing. And it was night and day. Honestly, it was just like darkness gone, lightness here, bam, that fast. After the session, haven't had anything else with that, completely gone. And what that did for me, and that was my spiritual awakening. Again, I don't want to go into detail about it, but it was very, very hard. It was very dark, and I never had ever thought that I would experience something like that, especially out there. I mean, that in Utah, that was my favorite place ever. It still is. I still go out there, and haven't had the experience since. And that was back in 2020, October 15th. And so that was my spiritual awakening. And I always thought that a spiritual awakening would be like, oh, the love, the light, the happiness, unicorns and rainbows. But mine was hard, dark, negative. And it was very, very awakening. And I talk about a spiritual awakening because it changed my whole framework, my whole frame of reference with life and death, afterlife, energetic work. I believed in energetic work, but now I know energetic work is legit, it's the real fucking deal. And shamanism is a real fucking deal. I would never have thought about it would do that, they could do that, what they did with what I was experiencing. And so it really woke up something in me that I never thought that I would be awakened to. And that's like, again, it's hard to explain. I'm trying to explain the unexplainable. I'm trying to explain like it's hard. It was a spiritual awakening, and it was the awakening to the fact that there's lightness and there's dark. There's good, there's evil. There's an afterlife. There's something beyond us. There's something other dimensions. There's something that we don't understand. And especially with all the darkness that was going on in 2020, that was part of what in my stress. I was fatigued. There were many factors that allowed me to have that experience. And with that experience, I understood that what we do as healers, as spiritual entrepreneurs, is very, 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 very important. Because I was always the type of guy, and I hear this all the time from like massage therapists, acupuncturists. They'll say, oh, I'm just a massage therapist. And I'm guilty of saying the same thing with myself in the past. Or I'm just an acupuncturist. I used to say that all the time. So I'd meet someone and like, oh, what do you do? And like, well, I'm just an acupuncturist. And I always put the word just, which minimized what I did. It minimized the importance of my job, of helping people, of healing people. Or I was always, oh, I'm just a hypnotist. No, not anymore. I'm helping saving lives on a big, on the spiritual realm as well. Because here's the thing, with my hypnosis, I specialize in quitting smoking, right? And when I did this, because my uncle passed away from a smoking-related illness, I saw the impact that had on my family. So I always thought of like, if I can help someone quit smoking, save their life or help them live longer, that's going to impact their family. That's going to impact their loved ones in a positive way, hopefully, right? And so with the spiritual awakening, I really took my understanding of what we do as healers to the next level. And this is why I named my business Next Level Healer, is because I want to help healers build their business. I want to share with what took me years and years of frustration and knowledge and money and just watching videos and being on seminars and learning from people, how to build their business, how to build a website, how to do SEO, how to do just all the aspects of building their business, maintaining their business, doing patient care, because again, with marketing, there's marketing, there's outside of your clinic marketing, there's marketing within your clinic, there's online marketing. So there's inside marketing, there's outside marketing, there's online marketing. And most people have never been taught this stuff. And I was lucky enough, I learned that stuff when I was very early on in my career from for my brother-in-law's clinic. I saw what he did. I did what he did. I did the process, the program. I learned that by doing it and learning it and how to say things and how to do payment plans and how to do packages and how to do all these things that we need to do as healers. Because here's the thing, if you can help one person, isn't that worth it? Right? Because again, if they live longer, if they're happier, if they're less stressed, that's going to impact their families, their loved ones, their life in a positive way. So with all the darkness that's out there, and I went from believing there's darkness to knowing there's darkness, right? So that's a big transition. Oh, I believe there's darkness to, oh, hell yeah, there's darkness. I'm in the process of learning how to do shamanic work. I want to be a shaman because it really literally changed my life. Because what I was experiencing, that darkness was very, very, very dark, very, very negative, very, very real. So I really know that there's darkness out there. This is why I feel almost like a karmic duty to learn shamanic work to help other people, right? So this is why after that, my spiritual awakening back in October 2020, I quit that business of doing the signing agent, and then I started to help and coach. Someone found me online after I quit. It's just to see if I could help them with their business. She was a hypnotist, and so I started helping her, and I realized that, man, I can do this. I can coach. I know the information. I know how to do this because I've done it. All right, and then I enjoyed it. Like, oh my God, this is what our community needs. Our tribe of healers need. They need the help. They need the information, the stuff that I didn't take it for like granted. I know that's a very important information, but I didn't want to teach it. I didn't want to coach it. I didn't want to do that until my spiritual awakening. And now I like, man, this is my mission. This is my drive. So this is why I'm building Next Level Healer, is because I want to empower healers. I want healers to step into their roles as healers. And it's kind of crazy because even the word healer, people like, oh, I'm not a healer. Well, the hell you're not. Right? If you're a massage therapist, you're a healer. If you do Reiki, you're a healer. If you do whatever you do, anything energetic, if you're in the alternative healthcare field, you are a healer. You heal people. And again, for some reason in our community, we minimize what we do. We don't think it's that important, but it's very, very important. And so this is why I am driven to build Next Level Healer. This is why I want you to step into your role as a healer, because the world needs what you have to offer. The world needs your light. There's a lot of darkness out there. And again, I didn't believe it until I experienced it. And now I know that's true. And this is why I'm here to help. This is why I am building Next Level Healer, is I want to help healers to be more successful. If they're more successful, they make more money. They make more money, they're less stressed. They make more money, they can go and learn, right? They can learn other techniques to take their healing to the next level, to level up their healing, okay? You have to make money in this business. If you don't, you go out of business. If you're out of business, you're helping no one. True? The goal is to help people. So in order to do that, you have to be successful. You have to run your business like a business. You have to learn online marketing. You have to do these things. And we as healers, we're at a disadvantage because we want to heal. All we want to do is help people. But you have to learn how to build a business. You have, especially today, you have to learn online marketing. You have to learn social media. You have to learn all these different things to share your gift with the world, and the world needs what you have to offer. And that is something special. You have a light within you. If you're watching this video, if you're listening to this podcast, you have something special that the world needs. And I truly, truly know that. I don't believe that. I know that is true. So that's why I'm building Next Level Healer. And again, let's really help each other. I want to build a community of healers that can come together. We can be a tribe of healers. We can share our light, our love, and our special gifts with the world. Because the more that we help each other, the more successful that we'll be. The more successful that we'll be, the more people that we can help. And isn't that why you're here? So that's my story. I'm sticking to it because it's true. So I'm Brian Mandrell, your host of I'm your host of, I don't even know the name of my podcast, it's so new. I'm Brian Mandrell, your host of Building Your Spiritual Business. This is why I'm on a mission to help healers, to help people. This is why I built Next Level Healer. So if you enjoyed this information and you think that someone else could enjoy it as well, I'd be so very, very grateful if you would share it with someone. And you can also find me across my social media channels at Next Level Healer. And also if you want some free tips and information or inspiration about building your business, you can find me at nextlevelhealer.com. So thank you so much for being here on my very, very first episode of Building Your Spiritual Business. I am Brian Mandrell, your host. So keep on keeping on, and I'll see you next time. So get out there, take action, build your business, and help as many people as possible, because that's why you're here. So again, I'm so happy and grateful that you spent some time with me and listened to my story, and I'll see you next time.